When we originally booked that first trip to Italy, we told ourselves it was just a test. 1 month, one experiment, nothing life-changing.
But the truth is, that flight out of San Francisco ended the life we've been living for decades. We didn't know it yet, but we had already crossed a line we couldn't uncross. That first month in Italy felt like dipping our toes into a life we didn't understand yet.
And it took us 2.5 years, 30 countries, and a version of ourselves we'd never seen before to finally understand what really started on that trip. I'm Judy.
And I'm Kevin. Welcome back to Finding Gina Marie, where we share our lives as full-time travelers and the connections we make along the way.
We'd always dreamed about living abroad. And in 2020, after meeting my Italian birth mother for the first time, just days before the world closed down, I had a chance to learn all about my Italian heritage. And I also discovered that I was eligible for Italian dual citizenship. Everything I'd always loved about Italy suddenly felt personal. But then the world closed and we were all in a state of limbo, just waiting for the world to open up again.
So when we finally booked that month in Italy to test remote work, it wasn't just curiosity. We knew we were stepping into the unknown. We just didn't know what was waiting for us on the other side.
Initially, we had this idea that we could just ease into full-time travel, work remotely, see a few places, nothing extreme.
But the truth was, getting rid of everything we owned, we were all in. That first year cracked every assumption we had.
We got sick in Athens and had to deal with some serious overwhelm. We discovered travel planning was going to be a lot more work than we realized. And suddenly we weren't even just traveling. We were two newly retired people with no paycheck, worried about overspending, trying to build a new life from scratch. We were even Googling things at the last minute that we should have learned weeks before.
We had to scramble to get vaccinated for a trip to Egypt, which seemed like a lot until we actually arrived in Cairo.
We stepped straight into one of the most raw, real places we've ever been, way outside our comfort zone, and it ended up being one of the most profound experiences of our lives.
We made plenty of mistakes in the beginning. Remember that 36-hour train ride because we sequenced our destinations wrong? That was a huge mistake.
Yeah, definitely sent a message that we had a lot to learn still. Especially about geography. That's one of those things that still haunts me.
So what'd you think of our six-seater here?
It was not the easiest train we've ever been on.
Yeah.
And it definitely wasn't luxury to be in this environment.
It was a tight squeeze in that cabin. And then there was Serbia, where I had major surgery in a foreign country, which was a mind bender to me. It took us a lot to get through that because you were a little worried about the surgery process while I was under the knife. Like, did we make a mistake? Is this the wrong procedure?
Yeah, and I think eventually some of those fears just evaporated and we felt a lot more comfortable with the things that we were doing that were unusual to us.
That changed everything for me and really dissolved some of the problems that I thought we were going to have with traveling the world.
And then we ended up closing out that first year in Asia, where we were eating unfamiliar foods. We had systems that we weren't used to navigating, so much overwhelm that we had to work through.
It was worth it, though. I think we kept growing throughout the whole first year.
In fact, we just did a video last week about if Asia intimidates you, here are the things that we learned. And hopefully it'll give you a little more confidence too. You can check it out below.
All of it, the good, the hard, the uncomfortable, was pulling us away from the people we used to be.
But it was pulling us towards the people we were becoming. The thing is, we just didn't realize what type of life we were creating for ourselves.
It took us 2.5 years to realize we were carrying something with us. And it was in Cagliari, a city in Sardinia, Italy, where it finally surfaced.
By the time we reached Cagliari, we'd already been traveling for 2.5 years. We'd been stretched in Asia. We stood in places like Machu Picchu and Iguazu Falls that made us feel tiny and alive. We'd fallen in love with Krakow and shared Italy and Japan with our daughter. We'd been humbled by the warmth in Cambodia, where people touched our hearts so deeply we wondered if we could live there someday.
We walked through the horrible buildings of Auschwitz, rode camels in the Sahara Desert, met someone in Albania whose openness shifted how we understand kindness, and met so many other people we never would have crossed paths with if we stayed in our old life.
And honestly, if we'd kept taking our 2-week vacations, we would have missed 3/4 of the world we now know, and the moments that completely rewired what we thought a good life was.
We didn't know it at the time, but all of these experiences were shaping us. Every country, every mistake.
There's CCTV cameras.
Saying that we could crawl under.
You want me arrested too? One of us has to bail the other out.
Every surprise, every new friend. There were pieces of a life we didn't know we were building.
We didn't realize it then, but something was still unresolved. All those pieces hadn't clicked into place yet.
We were changing. That part was clear. But we still didn't understand what we were changing into. Not yet.
I think that's because after everything we encountered, we didn't realize what everything was trying to show us until we hit that piazza in Cagliari and everything unfolded for us.
When we got to Cagliari, something felt different. Yes, the Castello district slowed us down, the hills, the stairs, pretty exhausted.
But that's not what transformed us.
No. It was something about that place, that piazza, something about being there every day, waking up to the beautiful sights and sounds.
There was a person who came every morning with either an accordion or a portable keyboard. There was kids running around chasing after each other. There was a gelato stand where people were helping themselves to cooling off.
Yeah, there were locals there every day doing the same thing. A little old lady that would always come and hang by other people and listen in, and then she'd move to another spot. You could see the same people interacting. You could see that life outside our window was real, vibrant, and really affected us.
There was a cafe where we could sip cappuccino. Yeah. It was just this very idyllic microcosm of the world. And sometimes we were in the middle of it, but other times we were in the historic building with our huge windows opened wide, a breeze coming in, and we could hear all of this life happening around us.
Yeah, we didn't have to be at the windows. We're sitting on our couch, listening to it all happen. We could picture something because we've seen it so many times. And it wasn't a perfect place. It wasn't a perfect Airbnb. It wasn't a perfect piazza. We were on a hill that took a lot of walking. So it wasn't that it was that ideal. It's just something about it.
Yeah, if I had to describe it, I'd say that it felt magical, but not in a perfect postcard way, but just in a, this is how life is supposed to look and feel sort of way.
And we didn't expect that at all. I think what made us so happy in Cagliari were the quiet moments. What do you think?
I think it was the moments when I didn't have to climb the stairs.
That was true. She was a little grumpy when she was climbing up the stairs. But to be fair, there was a lot of them.
There were a lot of them.
We were huffing and puffing. We made it.
Yay.
It's never easy. It's never easy. We love it, right? We love our location.
Oh my gosh, it's beautiful. But you work for it.
Yeah.
But it's worth it. Absolutely worth it.
It's like I didn't even eat that whole pizza. I lost it all coming the way up.
I did not. We'd spent so many years of our lives chasing after the big moments, maybe vacations or special milestones. But in Cagliari, it wasn't really that way. What stopped us and made us really appreciate things was the beauty of the ordinary.
Yeah, it wasn't like this was a one-off occasion. We realized that this could happen anywhere. It wasn't because of this place. It was because how we approached it and how we viewed it.
It wasn't Italy that changed us. Cagliari just happened to be the place where we finally understood what that first leap made possible.
And what surprised us most is that the clarity from Cagliari didn't fade. The months that followed only sharpened it. It's hard to describe why this experience was so impactful, but it helped me to stop looking for the perfect place. Perfection is in the quiet, slow moments, not in the destination.
I agree. A life shaped by curiosity, by slowness, by actually paying attention.
And now that we just celebrated 3 years of full-time travel, it seemed appropriate to reflect on all this learning.
This story is ours, but that feeling behind it, that sense of possibility, that's available to anyone willing to imagine their life differently.
We didn't build this life by accident. We built it by choosing it, again and again. Thank you for watching. We think you'd like this video next. We retired without a rule book. Here's what changed.
And if you haven't already, we would love for you to subscribe. It really helps our channel.
And remember to
wander more,
worry less.
and bring a passport.
Until next time.
Until next time.